Welcome to this week's Poke Report. I'm Curtis Quillen.
And I'm Amelia Henderson. We have a great show coming up for you this week.
To start things off, we get right into football.
Yeah, I mean, last week the Cowboys barely pulled out the win against Kansas State. They didn't even get their first lead until midway through the fourth quarter.
No, they didn't. I was on the edge of my seat throughout the entire game. I didn't even have any popcorn.
Me neither.
It was a close game throughout. Let's send it to our own Matt McGann to recap the Kansas State game.
After the Cowboys' survival in Austin, OSU hosted its first Big 12 opponent, Kansas State, and it would be a severe case of deja vu. Early in the first quarter, Joe Hubner would run up the middle on a designated QB draw, only to get destroyed by Trey Flowers that left him down for several minutes. Enter Cody Cook, the emergency fifth-string quarterback / receiver who hadn't played the position since 2012 in community college.
We knew he's a runner, and I thought he did a great job, but that's the style of player that they've played with the last 5 years, right?
After Cook led the Wildcats to a touchdown drive, the Cowboys would strike back. After a screen pass from Mason Rudolph, sophomore James Washington would shake and bake his way to the end zone halfway through the first. Cook and the Wildcats would manufacture an 11-play drive, capped by a 4-yard touchdown grab by mini Gronk, Glenn Gronkowski. OSU would orchestrate its own mammoth-style drive with a 13-play, 69-yard excursion, capped by a Jalen McCleskey score from J.W. Walsh. Kansas State would score 2 more times in the half, as the Wildcats took the lead going into halftime 28-20.
Yeah, it's just execution. Really just showing them what the errors were and then making adjustments, execution.
The Cowboys would hold the Wildcats to only 1 total yard in the third quarter, racking up sack after sack.
Comes back to his left and he's sacked back at the 27-yard line.
There were some things that they did that we really weren't prepared for, but we knew that going in, that there would be a few twists and turns.
Now enter the physical receiver Brandon Shepard. After not being targeted early in the game, he knew his time was coming.
Me and Marcel were calling for it all day, and they finally went at the end and just had trust in us and threw it up to us and let us do what we do.
Shepard would rip off a catch for 47 yards into Kansas State territory, and after a Marcel Aitman grab to the 3-yard line, Rudolph would feed Shepard again, with Shepard mossing the K-State defender, thrusting the Cowboys into the lead, 33-28. K-State prevailed with this touchdown run by now quarterback Joe Hebner after Cody Cook sustained a shoulder injury on the drive. It was a 34-33 lead for the Wildcats after a missed 2-point conversion. So now with 3 minutes left to play, it was Mason's moment. Down 1, with the ball left in OSU's very own to win the game. Sound familiar yet? 4th and 8 now from the OSU 37 and the game on the line. Rudolph finds Aitman for 19 yards, bringing extended life into Boone Pickens Stadium. After another Aitman grab and back-to-back runs from Raymond Taylor, Ben Grogan lined up to kick the game-winning field goal with 37 seconds left. With the game on the line, Holt Grogan once again activated the clutch gene and booted the 37-yard field goal, sending over 57,000 in BPS into a frenzy. A Michael Hunter interception would seal the deal for a 36-34 victory and bring some deja vu to OSU. The Cowboys look to make it 8 in a row when they travel to the couch-burning city of Morgantown to take on the West Virginia Mountaineers.
West Virginia, the whole state, it's just, it's different than Oklahoma and Texas and just where we're from.
For the Poke Report, I'm Matt McGann.
There were great games all across the Big 12 last week. West Virginia, Oklahoma, Kansas, Iowa State. Trevon Boykin had a record-breaking performance against Texas, and Baylor showed why you can't count them out as top dogs. Let's see what happens when we go around the Big 12. Down in Fort Worth, the Horned Frogs matched up against the ailing Longhorns, and it was easy. 3 minutes in, Trevon Boykin drops back to pass and fires one to the back of the end zone. KaVontae Turpin is all by himself. Trusty receiver Josh Dotson got in on the action early as well, going one-on-one against freshman Holton Hill, and brings another one down no problem. Horned Frogs up 16-0. Andy Dalton chimes in, congratulating Boykin on surpassing the TCU career touchdown record. And Turpin here takes in another. Turpin just could not be stopped. Here he goes again, breaking another touchdown, 50 yards untouched. Trevon Boykin finished with 5 touchdowns, 332 yards, and the true freshman KaVontae Turpin caps off the day with 4 of those. Like I said, too easy. Horned Frogs win it 50-7.
Out in Jerry's World AT&T Stadium, the Baylor Bears versus the Texas Tech Red Raiders. It's the Butt Bowl. Shock Linwood puts the Bears up early, makes a man miss, and takes it to the house 79 yards. Texas Tech responded quickly as QB Patrick Mahomes gets out of the pocket and fires deep, 55 yards to Zach Austin to tie it back up. Up 14-7, Seth Russell steps back and hits Corey Coleman down the middle of the field 28 yards. Again, Mahomes escapes from the pocket and throws it down deep, connecting with Cameron Batson for the score. Up 28-14, the Baylor Bears hand it back off to Linwood as he battles up the middle for the Bears, and we aren't even through the second quarter yet. 2nd and 12 from the 15, QB Seth Russell will take a shot, but not before he sends one to number 1 Corey Coleman for 6. Tech and Baylor would combine for 70 points in the first half alone as the Bears would go on to win it big, 63-35.
Northward to Ames we go. Jack Trice Stadium, Kansas, trying to avoid an 0-4 start. Second quarter, Cyclones up 3. Where'd the ball go? Quarterback Sam Richardson walks into the end zone untouched. Kansas defenders just look confused. Right out of halftime, Iowa State with the ball. Running back Mike Warren untouched again. 62 yards on the first play of the drive. Jayhawks wouldn't go away quietly though. 5 minutes left in the third. Waiting. Trey Parmalee wide open down the middle of the field. Kansas gets their first touchdown from a wide receiver this year. Jayhawks fall 38-13 and they are 0-4 this year. Iowa State is 2-2.
OSU sets their sight to the Big 12 outlier, West Virginia. And from where we are standing right now, it's just over 1,000 miles to Milan-Puskar Stadium. And it's already a tough road game as it is, and that distance doesn't make it any easier. But what do you think it's like for West Virginia week to week? Zach Baden has more.
This is the 4th year since major conference realignment that allowed TCU and West Virginia to join the Big 12, so we decided to check on the progress of the Mountaineers' assimilation and get an outside perspective for how the Cowboys' trip will play out Saturday night.
Joining us now via Skype is DJ Jeskins, West Virginia football beat writer for the Daily Athenaeum. Last weekend, what's your overall reaction to the loss at Oklahoma? They were in there for 3 quarters and then had some late turnovers that allowed OU to make it look like a much larger deficit than maybe it seemed like earlier in the game. So what's the reaction to that loss?
Well, I think they were disappointed. I think a lot of people thought Oklahoma was going to win, probably by that score, but the feelings here and in the program were that they could beat Oklahoma and they could show that they were the real deal on both offense and defense. A lot of mistakes were made. Skylar Howard overthrew and just flat out missed a lot of his receivers. But he had a much better game than his numbers would indicate. Defensively, they played well, but they missed a few assignments here and there. And unfortunately, all of those assignments turned into touchdowns, which is what really cost them. But it was disappointment mostly, but the program is set that they're on to the next one now with you guys at Oklahoma State.
Sticking with defense, what problems are they going to try to create for Oklahoma State running that 3-3-5? Do you think they're going to stay in that? Do you think they're going to try to crowd the box, or what strategy do you think, or what approach do you think they're going to take this weekend?
Well, defensive coordinator Tony Gibson is pretty adamant about sticking with that 3-3-5. He thinks it really works. He really likes it, and it's proven to work pretty well. They're always going to rush the front 3 with Rose, Chuku, and Jefferson. They'll try and take up as many of the offensive linemen as they can, because rushing 3 against 5 is not good numbers. But Gibson likes to blitz a lot. He likes to throw all 4 linebackers, and it's really 3 linebackers, but he has KJ Dillon, the spur position, which is like a linebacker safety hybrid that really is kind of confusing to study. But they also probably have one of the better secondaries in the country, if not the conference, with Carl Joseph and Trayvon Henry and Terrell Chestnut. So they're going to try and put a lot of pressure on Rudolph and make him get rid of the ball early and force turnovers, getting a pick, or even creating a fumble with some big hits.
And ultimately, how do you see this weekend playing out?
Well, I think it's going to be really, really close. It's going to be a really good game. We've had a couple of games in the past. West Virginia's won the past couple seasons, last year fairly convincingly, but I mean, they're pretty evenly matched programs. They're pretty similar. They both throw the ball really well. They both run the ball really well. Good defenses. I think West Virginia will edge it out a little bit, and there's a little bit of bias in that, but I think West Virginia will edge it out just a little bit. I think they're looking to rebound off of last week, and they'll have a little bit of extra hype going into it, especially because it is a night game, and it's going to be loud, and it's going to be exciting on national TV. It's going to be a really fun game to watch, but I think they just narrowly edge out Oklahoma State.
DJ, thank you so much for joining us, and best of luck covering the game this weekend, and we'll see how your predictions turned out. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
The women's soccer team is entering in their final stretch of this season with Big 12 tourney play right around the corner. Let's check in with Megan Bordeo to see how the Cowgirls' week went.
It was a weekend full of draws in Stillwater as the Cowgirls soccer team took on the number 14 Texas Tech Red Raiders and the Texas Longhorns. The Cowgirls played the Red Raiders Friday night, and the game was nothing short of entertaining and physical, as both teams combined for 42 fouls, 4 yellow cards, and each had 8 corner kicks. Things started off quick as Tech took a shot within the first minute of the game, followed by a shot from OSU's Marlo Zoller 30 seconds later. For the next 30 minutes, both goalies would make save after save until the Red Raiders' Janine Becky scored in the 35th minute from 22 yards out. The Cowgirls would come back out in the second half and score in the 62nd minute on a corner kick from Christina Jean Charles to Lauren Chesfield to tie the game 1-1. Less than 4 minutes later, Tech would get called for a foul in the box, and senior Allie Stevenson would capitalize and nail the free kick to give OSU the lead 2-1. The Red Raiders would get the same opportunity in the 88th minute when they were given a penalty kick that Becky would knock in to tie the game 2-2. Both teams went on to play the 2 10-minute extra periods, but neither team would score, ending the game in a 2-2 draw. With a day to recover, the Cowgirls then hosted the Longhorns on Sunday afternoon. Both teams started out slow in the first half, but there was much more to be said about the second half. The Cowgirls outshot the Longhorns 22-11, with 20 of those shots coming in the second half. The Cowgirls couldn't seem to find the back of the net as Longhorn goalie Abby Smith wouldn't let anything pass her. Within the last 2 minutes of regulation, Haley Woodard had 2 chances to score, but after her first was deflected, she rebounded the ball and barely missed the post on another shot. Once again, the Cowgirls competed through 2 overtimes, but it just wasn't enough, and the game came to a scoreless draw. Last up, the Cowgirls took on Drake Wednesday here in Stillwater in their annual Pink Out game. The Cowgirls jumped on the board early with a pass from Madison Mercado to Courtney DK in the box to give the Cowgirls the 1-0 lead. The Cowgirls' next goal would come in the second half when DK returned the favor to Mercado, who shot from 12 yards out and put the Cowgirls up 2-0. OSU secured the win when in the 58th minute, DK rebounded Mercado's blocked shot and put the ball in the net to give the Cowgirls their first win in 4 games.
To us tonight, it wasn't about the opposition. It didn't really matter who we were playing. We just needed to win. We needed to get some goals, create some chances, feel good. And we told them at halftime it'd be really nice, number 1, to win the game, but number 2, to get a lead where we can clear the bench and get all these kids who work so hard some minutes.
The Cowgirls took on Oral Roberts last night and head to Ames Friday to continue Big 12 play against Iowa State. For the Poke Report, I'm Megan Bordeo.
Basketball season last year didn't have any storybook endings. There were no nets cut down and certainly no Gatorade showers. But Travis Ford has both old talent returning and new talent coming in. We go 365 on men's basketball with Lucas Messina.
Basketball is back at Oklahoma State in just under a month. But let's rewind a year back to 2014.
The Boston Celtics
After losing Marcus Smart and Markel Brown to the NBA, the Oklahoma State men's basketball team went into the preseason unranked. Questions rose as to whether or not senior LeBrian Nash could step in as the leader of the team. And also, was Travis Ford a good enough coach to win in the tournament? With the additions of LSU transfer Anthony Hickey Jr. and JUCO transfer Jeff Newberry, and the return of Michael Cobbins and Phil Forte, Oklahoma State felt they had the manpower to prove the rankings wrong.
When you get someone kind of like Hick that come in and step in right when he leaves, that kind of makes the transition for me a lot smoother.
Oklahoma State climbed up to a 10-2 record before conference play started. But from there, things went sour. OSU finished 7th in the Big 12 with a conference record of 8-10. During the regular season, in which the Cowboys finished 18-14, the team pulled off impressive wins against Baylor and, of course, Kansas.
One of the most courageous victories.
These wins were good enough to lead the Cowboys to the number 21 spot in the nation. But it wouldn't last long, as they then lost 4 straight games to Big 12 opponents. However, soon enough those losses were faint memories. OSU was invited to the NCAA tournament to take part in March Madness for the 3rd straight year.
You know, I just took that as confidence, and you know what I'm saying, like I said, confidence in our resume. And, you know, we're ready. That's all I can say.
Hickey at half court will throw up a prayer. It's no good, and it doesn't matter because Oregon wins it by 6, 79-73.
For the 3rd straight time, Oklahoma State lost in the first round of the NCAA tournament. And for the last time, Michael Cobbins, Anthony Hickey, and LeBrian Nash represented Oklahoma State. And with familiar faces leaving, it means new faces filling in.
You know, a new team will be a new year, and you know, we're just gonna have to, you know, get back to work.
And that's exactly what they've been doing. The team has been going through not only summer workouts, but have recently started up regular practices. Ford says the team has been working hard for their fans too.
We've done a lot of great things, but yes, we want to take that next step. There's no question about it. And I think this summer was a great step in the right direction to hopefully doing that.
Another step in the right direction was bringing in Jawan Evans, who was a participant in the 2015 FIBA U19 World Championships.
Remember when I was a freshman, you know, asking like, you know, Markel, and then like, hey, now like I'm trying to help Jawan out, you know, it's different. I'm the senior and he's already, you know, better than me, so I'm kind of like, God, like it's weird.
Cowboys also brought in super athlete Devon Dillard and brother of Oklahoma City Thunder's Serge Ibaka, Igor Ibaka. The team also brings back veteran and up-and-coming players from last year, such as Jeffrey Carroll, Joe Burton, Tavarius Shine, and junior Leighton Hammonds, who has recognized the positives of great team chemistry.
Hey, this is the closest I've been with a basketball team my whole life. I mean, guys motivating each other in workouts, guys struggling, guys picking each other up. Like it really is a brotherhood.
As for the veterans, Jeff Newberry returns for his 2nd season at OSU. As for senior Phil Forte, well, he's still shooting and making from way beyond the three-point line.
For me, I mean, I haven't won an NCAA tournament game since I've been here. We've been every year, but we just happen to always fall short one game as soon as we get there. So for me, that's definitely a goal. It's my senior year, so I have one last chance. So I just want to try to go out the right way.
This year, the Cowboys will try to get over the departed players, relive and remake the great moments, and look forward to who's next up. For the Poke Report, I'm Lucas Messina.
One player definitely looking to shine this upcoming basketball season is Jeffrey Carroll. And Amelia, you caught up with Carroll.
Yes, watch me get some buckets with Jeffrey Carroll. We are here in Gallagher-Iba Arena with OSU's very own Jeffrey Carroll. Jeffrey, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yep. I have challenged Jeffrey in a game of horse, and let's just see how he can handle this Indiana Hoosier. Okay, so just so I don't embarrass myself completely, will you show me a few skills on how to shoot the ball?
Check out. This might get ugly.
Oh! All right, so tell me about this Jeffrey Clips name. What is that? Is that a nickname? What is that?
Yeah, they call me Clip. Michael Cobbins actually gave it to me whenever he was here, but they say it's because I can shoot the ball well, but I'm gonna go with that one because it's like a gun reference, you know. I just gotta reload the clip so I can keep shooting them off. But
Okay.
Yeah, so Cobbins gave it to me whenever he was here, and it kind of stuck. Cause like in practice, whenever I shoot, you get like, clip, and then everybody's like clip. So it kind of stuck. I like it, so we're gonna go with it.
I backed off too much.
Hey, you can't give a shooter any space.
When did you start playing basketball?
Started playing basketball. Well, I would go with my dad like at a young age, like maybe 5, 6, like because he used to go play pickup all the time, and I would just go with him and just shoot around. I could barely get the ball above my head, so I would just throw it up. But I mean,
speaking of that, that's my next shot. You just inspired me. Ready? Wait, we have to make it to. I have to get it to where I make it. Okay, so tell me about your friendship with LeBron. I know you were really close with him last year, and now he's overseas. What is it like now?
Oh, I mean, like we haven't talked much lately, but I do need to talk to him some more. But he was like my big brother, you know, mentor, and like I used to look up to him. Whenever I was in middle school, I used to go to all his games because he's from Dallas, so and I'm from Rowlett. So I used to always go to the games and watch him, and I was always amazed. Like he did it all. Like so.
Was he part of the reason why you chose OSU?
Oh yeah, for sure. And Marcus Smart, Markel Brown, you know, like pro players. And because Layton had committed here before me, so I thought it'd be cool to, you know, like go to college with my best friend. So.
Yeah. Did you know Layton before college?
Oh yeah, we played on the same summer team on the Dallas Mustangs.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So yeah, no, yeah, we had a good friendship before we even came here.
This is sad.
It's all good. Oh.
Think this season's gonna turn out like?
I think it's gonna be a good one. I think we might be better than we were last year, and I know that's saying a lot because we lost some really good seniors, but I think we're gonna surprise the country, you know? Like we're gonna win some games. People are like, well, how did they even like stay close to them? But because like, we have a good team, like we have a deep team, like depth-wise, you know, we can put like a whole new starting 5 each night, like it wouldn't matter. Because I think we were that good, so.
Yeah, and you have that new freshman Evans.
Oh, Juwan Evans, oh, he's like a baby Chris Paul. That's my comparison. You can mark my words on that one.
He's gonna be good then.
He's gonna be great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Great for sure. All right. I'll shut back you down.
Oh.
Good defense.
Oh.
It's not going today.
Oh my gosh! Don't. That wasn't on. Nope.
Oh.
Yes. Okay. So I've been seeing lately that you've been wearing that headband. Has Hickey rubbed off on you or something? What's going on with that?
No, actually, I think that was Hickey's old headband that I've been wearing. But no, I just didn't have a haircut that day, so I decided to put it on. But I'm not wearing the headband.
It's not gonna be a trend.
It's not a trend for me because I don't think I look good with the headband.
Maybe you could rep it. Not
maybe.
as good as Hickey.
I might pull it out some games.
We'll be there.
All right, here we go. Count me down again.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Oh! Oh! After the 10th try.
There you go. No, that was 6th attempt. 6th attempt.
Well, I guess it had to be said at one point. You're in the lead after we both had terrible weeks.
Yeah, I mean, but why on earth would you choose Tech?
I don't.
You do know they lost by 28 points, right?
I went with my gut on the upset, and my gut clearly got it wrong.
Yeah, clearly.
Can we move on? Let's start things off. Let's go to Manhattan. The Horned Frogs of TCU are in town to face the Kansas State Wildcats.
And TCU is still undefeated. I think I may have a slight case of frog fever.
You should get that checked out, like seriously. I'm going with TCU because I don't know another way to say it. They're just better. Keeping it in the Big 12, we go to the Red River rivalry down at the historic Cotton Bowl in Dallas. the Longhorns of Texas and the Oklahoma Sooners.
Can it just be a thing where both teams lose?
I don't think the Big 12 is quite there yet.
Well, I'm not choosing OU, so I guess I'm just taking the loss on this one. I'll go with Texas.
I can't stand here, pick Texas, and keep a straight face. It just can't happen. I have to go with Oklahoma. Interesting game next. LSU was supposed to hit the road and head to Columbia to face South Carolina, but they had to move that game on Wednesday to Baton Rouge after flooding from Hurricane Joaquin was on the East Coast this week.
Yeah, I really don't think the location change is going to have an effect on the outcome of the game. I'm going with LSU.
I have the Tigers too, but I feel bad, not just for the South Carolina football team, but for all of those affected by last week's storm.
I completely agree with you, Curtis. Thoughts and prayers definitely go out to the families that were affected by that storm. But now to the OSU game. Curtis, who you picking?
My pick is by no means popular here in Stillwater. There's just something about West Virginia. There's something about Milan Puskar Stadium, and that game from 2 years ago is still burning in the back of my mind. I think the Mountaineers make it 3 in a row over Oklahoma State by beating the Cowboys today in Morgantown.
You're killing me. The Cowboys have already came from behind in 3 games this season. I'm still choosing OSU.
Other than the OU debacle, I think West Virginia just plays 4 quarters of football better. We'll see tonight when they play. Heads up, Cowboys fans. Linebacker Ryan Simmons announced over Instagram Tuesday night that his college career is over. Simmons tore his MCL and PCL, and it will require surgery. Cal transfer Chad Whitener is a more than worthy replacement. Against Kansas State alone, Whitener had 9 tackles, including 2 sacks and 3 tackles for loss.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's definitely an unfortunate situation. We can only hope that Simmons can recover in time for April's NFL draft.
I hope so. I hope so. That's all we have. For all of us here at the Poke Report, I'm Curtis Quillen.
And I'm Amelia Henderson. And as always, go Pokes. Thank you for watching. You should take a picture of this.
You're having too much fun with this.
You should take a picture of this.
We all want to do more. In Oklahoma City, it's just who we are. Our community is filled with charitable organizations, generous donors, people who come together in times of greatness and in times of challenge. We don't always know their faces. We don't always know their stories. But when we know more, we give more. And we can do that with GiveSmart OKC. GiveSmart OKC is an online resource, a service provided by the Oklahoma City Community Foundation. You can use it to find, to learn, and to give. It's how we can make more happen.
Dallas Cowboys Star Magazine brings you behind-the-scenes coverage with in-depth player stories, entertaining columns, a pull-out poster, and, of course, your Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Subscribe now and get 32 issues throughout the year, including our season breakdown and the stunning cheerleader swimsuit issue. Star is delivered to your door for only $39.95 per year, or go digital for just $14.99 a year through our free Star Magazine app. Call 1-877-NFC-BOYS today.
Cox is giving you more ways to watch TV. With Contour, a personalized experience on your TV or iPad. With TV network apps, so you can watch on the go. And with Cox TV Connect, watch live TV on multiple devices anywhere in your home. Start watching TV your way. Learn how with the Cox Discover More video series at cox.com/learn.